Now let's talk with Benjamin Reaves. Ben, it's wonderful to see you as always, every year.
Always good to be with you.
I know our viewers are always inspired by your message, and it occurred to me that several times that you've been on that we haven't really talked about the Seventh-day Adventist Church very much. So I want to give you an opportunity to share with us, I know Sherry and I are both interested in our viewers, a little bit about the church, the history in America, whatever you'd care to tell us.
Well, I think what I'd like to initially say is that Seventh-day Adventists share many of the beliefs of many Protestant groups.
Okay.
We believe in Jesus Christ and his salvation, and we believe that our salvation rests in that. But we also, as indicated in our name, we believe in the second coming of Jesus Christ, Adventists, and we also observe the seventh-day Sabbath as a day of worship.
Well, we agree on that.
Yes, we agree on that. And in addition, we also place high priority on care of the body, the health concerns of the body. In fact, probably many times, if the name has been seen in print, it's been seen in relationship to health, longevity of life because of health practices. Our facility, Loma Linda University in California, many tests have been conducted and have been explained and shared on national television. So in a capsule, those are the important things, but far perhaps more important is that we believe that our salvation comes from Jesus Christ.
I think that's very helpful for our viewers, because a lot of our viewers are like, I'm not really sure about what he stands for, and you really pointed it out. Now I'm going to poke a little bit about what you said.
Poke away.
Okay. God makes this promise to Moses and to Joshua, right? First to Moses, then to Joshua. But the problem is, it's not that true, right? Because Joshua faces enemies.
What is not true?
Well, we can't necessarily have the same type of relationship, right? With God, we want that intimacy that God had with Joshua and with Moses, but God's not talking to us. God's not appearing in a burning bush. God's not doing all the things that God did for God and for Moses and Joshua. So tell us.
Well, first of all, let's let God be God. And God can choose the way he will be intimate and personal with us. He is not relegated to, it must be a burning bush, or it must be a cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. God can choose in so many ways to be as real to the person who stands in need as he was to Moses and Joshua.
So God evolves as we evolve, right? The
I
conversation
would not
changes.
use the term God evolves.
Right.
I would say that God is, and God deals with us in our differing situations.
So for our viewer that wants that passionate, intimate relationship with God, what do you say to them?
First of all, like anything else, relationship. Spending time. Many times that spending time can be spent in prayer, in reflection, in the reading of God's word, in just reflecting on things that we don't normally think about, that we sometimes take for granted. And that is that God is active in your life right now in so many ways that you're not conscious of.
And you? God is active in yours?
Well, absolutely, and I wish I had a more active prayer life, to your point, because I think it's key to spend that time to deepen that relationship. And what I heard in your message, Ben, was an invitation to intimacy. And I wonder, in your ministry, you have encountered people struggling with the idea that they can have that intimate of a relationship with God, that God is somewhere far off, but not deep within and always available, as you talked about.
There are many things that impact people in that way. Some because of their own family relationship with perhaps a father who was abusive or seemed to be distant. And then there are those who cannot get over the idea that I'm really not worthy of that kind of, God wouldn't spend time with me. And so they find it difficult to embrace and grasp and trust that. But that's the beautiful thing about relationships. They grow, and in time, the understanding and the acceptance and the embracing of it, it gets to almost living out the words of the hymn, he walks with me and he talks with me and he tells me I'm his own. And the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known.
What do you say? My mother just passed away, and it's one of the times I felt the most distant from God. What do you say to someone who doesn't even know where to begin that relationship or feels very distanced because of their life situations?
Well, I would say, first of all, let's keep everything in perspective. And that is that beyond what has occurred in time is God and eternity. And in his word, we can find, as we did this bundled promise, promises that can sustain and encourage us. And also seek out people of faith that we know who have no easy answers, but can share with you something about what the journey was and how they dealt with it.
That leads me to the next question, but we're exploring interfaith dialogue on the show, especially very intentionally this year. And I wonder, in your experience in the health system, how this kind of plays out for you. If you see people reaching out to each other across faith traditions in a really powerful way.
Absolutely. In fact, part of my responsibility with Adventist Health System is coordinating the work of chaplains across the 39 hospitals. And a major part of our initiative is an openness for inclusivity and being aware of the needs, not just of various patients, but also their families and their faith beliefs, and developing a relationship with different groups so that we can provide that kind of resource for those who are in particular need of it. And we have to be very open and understanding that we all stand in need of spiritual resource. Some from this direction, some from that direction, and it is not up to us to restrict or isolate and dictate, no, it only comes this way. We provide for the needs of the patient, both physical and spiritual.
That's such a powerful message and so important. Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, we're always glad to have you with us, Ben, and we'll look forward to you joining us next year, and wish you and your lovely wife all the best always.
Thank you very much.
Sure.